The Last of Us is a masterpiece of a video game. However, The Last of Us Part 1 has been met with significant controversy. Is it necessary to remake a game that received a remaster last gen and that runs well on current gen hardware? What about the $70 price tag? Is it worth it? Let's talk about that. Last of Us Part 1 is a visually impressive game. It's received new character models, animations, and new lighting. All of these things elevate this game to new heights. In addition to the visual improvements, the game does introduce a host of accessibility features and options for those who are visually impaired or hearing impaired. There are a lot of ways that you can customize and change not only the difficulty, but the way that the game communicates with you. And so that will bring this game to a whole new audience and seems to really be pushing kind of the edge on accessibility features, which is great to see. The new visual elements are impressive on their own, but the overall impact that they have on the game is hard to understand without playing it. I will admit I was skeptical to pay $70 for the game on release. It's just updated visual effects. The remastered version on PS4 and Playable on PS5 looks good. But ultimately I decided to pick this game up, to spend the $70 on it and try it out. I would consider The Last of Us Remastered one of my top 25 or so favorite games, so I decided to check it out. The things that made the original or the remastered great are still present, but they are given an even greater chance to shine with these updates. The game is probably most well known for its engaging and powerful narrative. It is a gritty and rugged story of survival as Joel faces loss and hardship and grows to have deeper affection for Ellie after she is unexpectedly placed in his care. But what happens is that the new facial animations and lighting allow the most powerful scenes of the game to take on a new vibrancy that is undeniably superior. The characters' faces and eyes convey emotion in a way that has seldom, if ever, been captured in gaming. Joel's age is more apparent after the 20 years time skip early in the game, showing the weight that this world has put on him, causing him to age and just look so much older. In particular, this becomes more evident when you're reunited with Joel's brother Tommy, who has not aged quite as much, it appears. The new visuals also offer a glimpse at a grittier and more unpleasant world than the previous versions of the game. The death animations are brutal, whether you are the killer or the one being killed. Honestly, there were some death scenes that I struggled to watch and almost considered turning off the gore setting in the game. The facial expressions of dying victims and limbs being blown off from shotgun blasts convey a much darker realism than the earlier games with the hyper-realistic graphics. Blood spilling out from those you killed and the persistent wounds on their bodies really make you wrestle with all that you've done to a new extent. It is hard to express how much more powerful every story beat is with improved visuals. The moments of pain are deeper and the moments of joy are greater. The scene at the bus station, it's a classic scene at this point, just comes to life in a brand new way after your long, harsh, and brutal journey. I've played this game before, not even that long ago, but this version evoked as strong or maybe even stronger emotional responses because of the presentation. And all of that is done through the improved visual upgrades. In addition to visual improvements, there are some very minor changes to the gameplay. The shooting is a little bit smoother, the handling of guns a little bit smoother, but honestly, there's not a huge jump in quality. And if I have a criticism, it is that this remake doesn't really offer too much in terms of gameplay improvement, strictly speaking. And comparing it to more recent games, the gameplay will feel just a little bit dated. If you're interested in more video game reviews, tips, and impressions and thoughts, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can check out more. Another element that is elevated in this iteration of the game is the environmental storytelling. This game might have the best environmental storytelling of any game I have ever played, but the designers were able to do so much more with the improved realism and fidelity. It felt like nearly every room had something interesting to reveal. Whether it is an empty baby crib in the sewers or a skeleton tied to a chair in a freezer, the enhanced visuals show you that this is a cruel and unforgiving world. Of course, many optional conversations and hidden items throughout the game are used to present background information, which is often deeply rewarding. Some gruesome moments that I previously just noticed in passing captivated me in the remake of Part 1. More often than not, it was because the new polish showed so much more detail that I honestly did not even notice it before in the remastered version. In addition to the environmental storytelling and the rebuilt graphics, the sound design is superb. All of these improvements make it clear that Naughty Dog applied several lessons from Part 2 to this remake, and they created some eerie sound effects throughout the game. You can hear so many details, and the way that sound comes out of even my very basic speakers was vivid and conveyed location and even created a haunting atmosphere many times like few games I've played before. If you have played The Last of Us and loved it, or if you've never played The Last of Us, I think that you would enjoy Part 1 Remake. It is without a doubt the best version of The Last of Us. However, that $70 price tag is steep. And for people who are on a budget or those who buy only a few games a year, this may not be the way to go. Waiting for a sale once it becomes $30 or $40 may be best for you. Despite that, I am fully convinced that this was not a cash grab from Naughty Dog. This is not a game that they've just slapped some upgraded textures onto. This is a completely rebuilt world, and that creates a new feeling experience. It seems to me that with the newest technology and the lessons that Naughty Dog has learned over the years, they said, The Last of Us is great, but we can make it better now. Let's do what we can to improve it. And I think they did improve it. While the value proposition may not be worth it for some gamers, this is the best version of an already fantastic game. So for our reviews, we want to answer the most basic question. Is this game fun? The Last of Us Part 1 is a great game. The story, the characters, and the world make this a classic. This is a masterpiece, and it's already been established for that for years. And it is fun. The dark world, though, makes it difficult to say that this is fun. That feels kind of twisted to say, but it is a powerful experience. And The Last of Us Part 1 is a great game. Definitely worth checking out. Have you checked out The Last of Us Part 1? If so, what did you think? Were you impressed by the improvements? Do you think they were too minor? Let me know in the comments below if you've checked this out. Are you going to wait for a sale? Let me know what your thoughts are below. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe so that you can catch up with all the rest of our content. Have a great day.